Well, I'm not sure if you're young enough as me to have heard of Neo. He's a 43-year-old Grammy-winning American singer-songwriter, actor, dancer, and record producer. And he recently shared his thoughts on gender identity. Well, the reaction was swift, and he immediately fell into line with the cultural elite. But then he found his backbone. And the reason he found his backbone? Well, let's find out. So the R&B Grammy-winning singer Neo, whose real name is Shafa Chameri Smith, doesn't sound quite as good, so Neo's better, isn't it? Drew backlash a couple of days ago after an interview where he questioned parents who allowed their kids to undergo gender transition surgery. Let's have a watch of the interview clip.
I feel like parents have almost forgotten what the role of a parent is.
Amen.
It's like, okay,
Lost control.
if your little boy comes to you and says, "Daddy, I want to be a girl," and you just let him rock with that,
Right.
he's 5.
Right. And where did he get that
If
from?
you let this 5-year-old boy decide to eat candy all day, he's going to do that.
Exactly.
Like, when did it become a good idea to let a 5-year-old, let a 6-year-old, let a 12-year-old make a life-changing decision for themselves?
Right.
When did that happen?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that. I don't get that.
And to medicate these young kids that are 5, 6 growing up and knowing that it affects their brain, it affects their organs, it makes them sick, but they're not allowed to do drugs, they're not allowed to do alcohol.
Right.
We can medicate
He
them
can't
up.
drive a car yet, but he can decide his sex.
Right, right. What sexual orientation, and he can cut up his pee-pee, and that, to me, that makes no sense
And
whatsoever.
I don't know if this is true, but I heard a rumor that they either passed or are trying to pass a law in LA that states if your child comes to you and asks to do some of these things and you say no, they can take your kid from you.
Yeah, that's true. Just passed in California.
That makes no sense.
They want us to have no control over our children
I don't get it.
in schools,
I don't
and
get it.
hospitals, libraries.
Yeah.
They just want to manipulate. You got to understand when they're so young and they're already, that's
Impressionable.
That's right.
Mhm.
And from them, they're going to believe what you say. I mean,
Yeah.
we say Santa Claus is real, the
And they
Easter Bunny.
believe it, like,
right,
come on.
exactly.
Like, you gotta
They know what they're doing.
Remember who you're dealing with. Like I can't take credit for it, but I heard somebody say one time, he's like, all right, if your son comes to you and says, "Daddy, I want to be a girl," ask your son, "Son, what is a girl?"
That's a good one.
What is he going to do? He's going to say, well, he might want to play with dolls. All right, you want to play with dolls? Fine, play with dolls.
Right.
But you're a boy
Right.
playing with dolls.
That's
I want
right.
to wear pink. All right, cool, wear pink. But you're a boy
That's right.
wearing pink.
I was a town boy. I still love boy sneakers.
Yeah, well, they're spot on, aren't they? But for a celebrity, which is with as much fame as Neo, to say this, there's going to be a backlash. And there was. And like all celebrities, they immediately bowed to the pressure and worship at the altar of the new cult and woke religion. Now, initially, Neo pushed back and posted a comment saying, "First and foremost, I condemn no one," the rapper wrote. He said, "Who am I to condemn anybody? Your life, your kids, your choice. I was asked a question and I answered it. My opinion is mine. I'm not asking anybody to agree with me, nor am I telling you what you can and cannot do with your children. I stated my opinion on a matter, and that's that. Why should I care if my opinion upsets you when you don't care if yours upsets anyone? Opinions aren't special. We all have one. People voice them regularly, whether they're asked or not. I was actually asked mine. Agreeing to disagree is not a declaration of war. Y'all do what y'all want to do, but my feelings on the matter are mine. Same way yours are yours. Meanwhile, I love everybody. Don't agree with some of y'all's ideas, but love you no less." Notice the kind of language that he writes, which is significant. You'll see in a minute. But as most of them do, he capitulated. Or was it his publicist and manager? Because he apologized, and here's the apology that he posted, and you'll notice that it's kind of different writing to the y'all that we saw just before. So here's the apology, and it says, "After much reflection, I'd like to express my deepest apologies to anyone that I may have hurt with my comments on parenting and gender identity. I've always been an advocate for love and inclusivity in the LGBTQI+ community, so I understand how my comments could have been interpreted as insensitive and offensive. Gender identity is nuanced, and I can honestly admit that I plan to better educate myself on the topic. so I can approach future conversations with more empathy. At the end of the day, I lead with love and support for everyone's freedom of expression and pursuit of happiness. Well, if you think he wrote that, I have a bridge to sell you. But he probably thinks that by posting that, it's all over. He can move on. But once you're cancelled by the mob, you never really become uncancelled, no matter how much you bow and scrape. That's just the way it works. But then Neo found his backbone, and I'll show you why. He posted this video on Instagram, a video to clarify his position from the horse's mouth and not from the publicist's computer, he says. Let's play what he says.
What's going on, loved ones? This is Neo. All right, listen. I normally don't give too much of a damn about what y'all think about what I do, what y'all have to say about what I say, whatever. I normally don't care because, like I said, opinions ain't special. Everybody got one. However, this is something I feel very strongly on, and I need y'all to hear this from the horse's mouth, not the publicist's computer. So check this out. First and foremost, I do not apologize for having an opinion on this matter. I am a 43-year-old heterosexual man raising 5 boys and 2 girls, okay?
Hear that. He's a father with 5 boys and 2 girls. He can figure out biology, and he's got a vested interest in the welfare of his children. That's a really important factor. Let's continue.
That's my reality. Now, if my opinion offended somebody, yeah, sure, I apologize for you being offended because that wasn't my intention. My intention is never to offend anybody. However, I'm entitled to feel how I feel. I'm absolutely entitled to feel how I feel the same way you are entitled to feel how you feel. I ain't asked nobody to follow me. I ain't asked nobody to agree with me. I was asked a question and I answered the damn question, okay? I have no beef with the LGBTQIA plus community whatsoever. I ain't got no beef with y'all. Do whatever the hell it is you want to do. Do what you want to do with your kids. However, somebody asked my opinion on this matter, and this is how I feel. I will never be okay with allowing a child to make a decision that detrimental to their life. I will never be okay with that. I don't care. I definitely plan to educate myself a little bit more on this matter. However, I doubt that there's any book anywhere or any opinion that somebody's going to tell me that's going to make me okay with letting a child make a decision like that. That's just period, point blank, and that's how I feel. If I get canceled for this, then you know what? Maybe this is a world where they don't need a Neo no more, all right? And I got no problem with that. I'm a hustler, all right? I'll figure it out. I got kids to raise, and I'm going to do that regardless. So with that being said, y'all have a good day. I love everybody. Live how you want to live, love how you want to love, but your opinion is yours. Speak your opinion as much as you damn well feel like it. Because as I said, they're not important. They're not special. Everybody got one, and you're entitled to it. I'm entitled to mine, all right? Y'all feel how y'all want to feel. Have a great day. It's Neo. Peace and love.
Yeah, he found his backbone. He has children. He has a highly vested interest in this issue. And accompanying the video on his Instagram account, he had this text. He said, okay, this is getting out of hand from the horse's mouth. I will not be bullied into apologizing for having an opinion. Agreeing to disagree is not a declaration of war. My intention is never to offend anybody, but my opinion is mine and I'm entitled to it. I don't care what y'all do with yours. That's yours. This is how I feel. If one of my 7 kids were to decide that he or she wanted to be something other than what they were born as, once they're old enough and mature enough to make that decision, so be it. Not going to love him any less. Daddy is still daddy and he loves you regardless. But this isn't even a discussion until they are mentally mature enough, in caps, to have such a discussion. And Neo concluded with a plea to agree to disagree and coexist peacefully. Well, Neo says he's going to learn a bit more about the whole issue. I'll send him a copy of our report by a pediatrician, not a gender activist or the media. The report is Children Transitioning Childhood Gender Dysphoria, a pediatrician's warning to New Zealand and to Neo. And it's written by Professor John Whitehall. And it sends a strong warning that allowing children to choose their gender has no scientific evidence in medical literature to support the massive interventions of the medical pathway, and that the most vulnerable of children will be at particular risk. It's on our website. Why don't you have a read of it? You can download it for free. and I'll send a copy to Neo.